Hey, thanks for checking in. Today we're going to talk about a marriage-based adjustment of status. So let's first of all explain what that means. Let's just say you're in the country lawfully and you're married to a US citizen. In most cases, you're eligible to adjust status, and that is adjusting status from whatever status you entered the country in to that of a permanent resident or a green card holder. So let's talk about some common misconceptions. A lot of times I have people come in the office and they say, hey, I married my US citizen wife and now I am a US citizen. It doesn't work that way. You actually need to become a permanent resident first, which is applying through the adjustment of status process, and then after a couple of years then you can potentially become a citizen. But you do actually have to file paperwork to become a permanent resident. It just doesn't automatically happen. Another misconception is that I was here illegally, being that I walked across the border or I snuck in through Canada without being seen by an officer. Can I still get my green card? Well, unfortunately no. It's a lot more complicated than that. We have to prove a quite severe hardship in order for you to get around that. So if you didn't enter the country lawfully, you have some major issues. The different thing and the kind of interesting part of this is that if you entered the country lawfully and you've been illegal and you marry a US citizen, you can actually adjust status. So let's just say an example of that is that someone came in as a visitor and they overstayed their visa. I actually had a client that overstayed their visa 57 years and got married, and we successfully adjusted their status. It's a little bit tricky, and you've got to prove certain things, and it is a lot more complicated. If there's fraud involved or anything like that, or any crimes or criminal backgrounds, you definitely need to talk to an attorney, an immigration attorney that knows what they're doing to help process that. So part of the process is, first of all, we need to prove that your spouse is a US citizen. So obviously we need to prove with either it's a birth certificate or a naturalization certificate, a marriage certificate, and then some details on you. And then we also have to prove proof of shared life. So that's things like photos together, proof that you've gone on trips together, file taxes together, pretty much all the normal things that a happily married couple do. You occasionally have some interesting cases where the couple don't live together, whether it's because someone's a student in a different town, the other one has work here. We can typically work around that. We just need to provide a really good reason as to why that's the case. But although it's quite a tedious process to get it done, it's quite straightforward. So things you need to remember. One, have you entered the country lawfully? Hopefully you haven't done anything silly since you've been here, so you haven't got in any legal troubles or you have any legal troubles abroad. And you've got all the paperwork that we can prove it. And then there's a whole stack of forms that we need to fill out and get together. But once we get a file, we file it, you do your fingerprints, and then at some time in the future you would have your interview at a USCIS office with your spouse, and then you would hopefully all go through and become a permanent resident. If you have any questions, feel free to call the office.